Hello, folks. Welcome to the Mindset Artistry Podcast. I'm your host, Dave DiPaolo. Thank you for joining. This is episode number 12, and today we're going to talk about maybe it is your fault. Okay, so this is a little bit of a follow-up to my podcast last week where I talked about it being all about yourself and self-accountability, self-discipline, self-respect, how important they are to your growth in life and how important they are to your success in life. And, if you did listen, I talked about self-accountability the most in that episode. And why I want to do a little bit of a follow-up here is because I need to dive a little bit deeper into that because self-accountability is so important. And once you do have it, it's like a light switch that goes on. I mean, some people have had it for a long time. Some people, it's something that you need to work on, and most people do. But when you turn that switch on and you start thinking that way and your mindset shifts to have total accountability in your life, you can accomplish so much more. You will see the difference. And that's, clear and evident, right? Why I wanted to do a follow-up on this, because one of the main things that I talked about in self-accountability last week was that there's going to be times in your life when something happens to you or happens around you or happens, just in society and what's going on in our country and this and that and all these other things, right? So, what I talked about was, hey, sometimes things aren't your fault, but they are your responsibility, right? Like you may have things that happen to you. You can call it bad luck. You could be, you can call it being in, the right place at the wrong time, whatever it is. And these things happen, and yeah, it sucks and it wasn't your fault that it happened, but it's your responsibility now to make the best of it. Find a way to fix it, find a way to, learn from it, get better, get stronger, whatever it is, and handle the problem. Like find the solution of whatever it's going to be, whatever that problem was, even though it may not be your fault, you still need to find the solution that's going to set you up to be in the best, possible position for your life, for that situation, whatever it is, right? So, why I wanted to do this follow-up is because, yeah, all that is true, and there are times that things aren't your fault, but it's still your responsibility to handle it the right way. But there's another side of that I didn't talk about last week, is that sometimes it is your fault, right? Like sometimes there are things that we might think in our mind that, oh, that's not my fault, it just happened to me, and you could play that victimhood mentality, that woe is me, that the blame game and all that other crap that gets you nowhere. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more things that are our fault than we probably realize, right? There's a lot more things out there that are our fault that we track and bring into our lives, that's the reason why these things do happen, right? Listen, like I could do a whole podcast on the law of attraction. Like you could Google videos on YouTube about the law of attraction all you want. But bottom line is, and this is the simplest way to say it, like if you have a negative attitude, if you have a negative outlook on life, if you just walk around all the time in a piss poor mood, bad attitude, mean to people, very selfish, all that kind of stuff, well then guess what? Like all that leads to negative thoughts that's your negative mindset, but that's going to attract more negativity into your life, right? So, you go through and, do all these things and you have this mindset of like, oh, whatever, I can't win, I just have bad luck, this and that. Well, you keep telling yourself that. You keep telling yourself that you have bad luck and you can't win and, that can never be me and, all this other crap. Well, then guess what? Your subconscious mind's going to believe that. Your subconscious mind's going to believe that that's who you are. Okay, like if this person wants negativity, they don't want to be successful, they don't want all these great things in life, well then we won't give it to them, right? Or we'll put them through more stress, or we'll put you through more aggravation, okay? And that's what happens is you're going to attract these type of things by having that negative attitude, by negative self-talk. You're going to attract more negativity in your life. By being a difficult and disgusting and vile person, well then you're going to attract more vile things into your life. Everything's going to be a problem if all you see is problems, okay? Now, if you see only solutions, to a problem, well, that's the right way to do it. But most people don't. They see problems, they harp on them, and it consumes them, and it's a terrible way to live. So you are attracting a lot of the negative things in your life when you have a bad mindset, when you have a bad attitude. That's just plain and simple, okay? Because the living proof is on the other side of that. People who have a positive attitude, people who only do see solutions when there's a problem, people who do stay upbeat, happy, try to be good to people, try to be nice to people, try to help people, walk around just in that kind of manner of being a good person. I want to be a good person. I want to help people. I want to have a good attitude. I want to cheer people up. I want to make people laugh. I want to help people get through things. Like when you think that way with a positive mindset, and then you always think ahead like, hey, yeah, look, things are going to get better for me. Yeah, look, that was a tough thing I just dealt with, but look, I got stronger, I got better, I learned from it. When you see the positive out there instead of all the negative, then you invite more positivity into your life. You invite more opportunity into your life, because that's how your mindset is, right? It's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. That's something that I talk about all of the time, and this goes right in line with that as well. So look, if you have negative thoughts, if you are a negative person, you have a negative attitude, you're a bad person, you treat people poorly, well, you're going to attract more poor and negative and bad things in your life. Plain and simple. If you're a good person, you have a positive attitude, you want to help people, then you're going to attract more good things in your life. It's karma, right? That's another thing I can do a whole episode on. Go on to YouTube and look that up too. Karma. The law of attraction, karma, all these things. But the bottom line is negative thoughts produce negative results. Positive thoughts produce positive results. It's really that simple, okay? So now another side of this, of why I say that, hey, yeah, things may be a little bit more your fault than you realize, is most people are very, very unprepared in life, okay? They just fly through life, just living day to day with not really a plan, not preparing for things, not, having things in place that are going to help you, make you better, all these different things. And when you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. I mean, you really are. And I say this all the time. If you stay prepared, then you don't have to get prepared. If you stay prepared and something happens in your life and you're already prepared to handle that, well, then you have already put yourself in the best possible position to, take on and handle and deal with anything that comes your way, right? So the more prepared that you can be in life, in every aspect, in your personal life, your professional life, all these different things, that is going to help you so much, because now all of a sudden you're not trying to just fix things and I got to figure this out. I got to do this. This is so crazy. Like, what am I going to do? And like, you're frantic and all frazzled, and you're under pressure, and it's very, very difficult to perform and get things done the right way when you're under that kind of pressure. But the more prepared you are for any situation, the better off you are going to be. So, whatever that is, if that's your finances, right? A lot of people are very bad with money, right? Having some savings, having, maybe some lines of credit out there that if you need it to touch, it's available to you, right? Having these different things in place, to maybe a little safety net if something unforeseen does happen, right? Something bad does happen. Well, hey, now look, you know what? Yeah, it's horrible that I got to go through this, but at least I have this. At least I can fall back on this. At least I can do this. That's going to get me through this tough time, and then I'll rebuild, right? So finance is a big one, right? Another one is health. A lot of people, and look, I'm guilty of this as well. I am a stubborn bull of a man. I do not go to the doctors and to the hospital unless it is something very crucial that I need to go handle and deal with, right? And a lot of people are like that, especially men. We're very just ridiculous with that kind of stuff. We don't go to doctors, okay, whatever. But, overall, generally, I'm a fairly healthy dude, okay? Like, I work out, 6 to 7 days a week. I have multiple different things that I do for my workouts. I eat pretty good. I'm very conscious of, the chemicals and all the crap that's in processed food, and I avoid that stuff. I eat pretty clean. I eat organic. I do a lot of different holistic things that are very good for you as well. Maybe I don't go to the doctors as much as I should, and I kind of just deal with things. But at the end of the day, I know I'm a fairly healthy person. If there was something that was very vital that I needed to go and deal with, or a problem that I was having, I certainly would, because I wouldn't put my family in jeopardy of me not being here, okay? But our health is one that, we need to be much more prepared on, right? Like, if you eat horrible stuff, you eat unhealthy junk, you don't work out, you don't move around, your mental health as well. Like, what information are you consuming? Are you under a lot of stress? Are you, do you have coping mechanisms that are bad for you? You drink a lot, you smoke, maybe different drugs, all these other things. Well, look, you're setting yourself up for failure with this kind of stuff, right? You know deep down inside that you shouldn't be doing that. You know you shouldn't be eating that stuff all the time. Like, yeah, can you treat yourself every once in a while? Sure. But, should you be eating junk every day? Absolutely not. Read the labels. See what's in this stuff. See all the stuff that's in our food that's actually banned in other countries, which is ridiculous that we can have that here and poison our citizens. It's criminal. It's crimes against humanity, in my opinion. But there's enough information out there now that we know that. So yeah, is it our fault that these companies are putting all this junk in our food that poisons us and hurts us, gives us cancer, kills us, all these different things? No, that is not our fault, but it's our responsibility to educate ourselves. It's our responsibility to get the right information, know these type of things, okay? So, yeah, then maybe it is your fault if you're not doing your due diligence, right? Maybe it is your fault if you're not going the extra mile to try to get the healthier foods, not eat the bad foods. Look at the labels, read the labels. A great app, and I have zero affiliation with this whatsoever, the yucca app, just like the root vegetable of a yucca. It's called Yucca. It scans barcodes. It tells you all of the stuff that's in there, all the additives, all the stuff that's hazardous to you, all the different bad things that might be about that product. And when you do that, it tells you, hey, I'm going to stay away from this. I am fanatical about this, especially because I have a 4-year-old and I don't want him eating this poison. So I scan everything, and I'm neurotic with it. And whatever, that's what I got to do to keep my kids safe, I will. But that's a great app and a way that you can do that. And you look, there's plenty of different, real life health people on the internet, YouTube videos, short form videos all over social media that are telling you the things that you need to avoid, telling you the things that you should and shouldn't eat. And they break down why. So yeah, is it messed up that they're putting this stuff in front of us and throwing it out there in supermarkets for us to buy? Yeah, it's disgusting. It really is. But we know this. We know this information. Tell your friends and family. Some of my friends and family think I'm nuts, some of the stuff that I tell them, until they actually look into it and they're like, man, you're right. Like, that's crazy that's in there. How do they get away with this? Why do they do that? So yeah, look, that's the way it is, but it's our responsibility to look into this and know this and educate ourselves so that we're not poisoning ourselves. Like, plain and simple, I'm not poisoning our loved ones. So, and that's just a great example, but there's many things like that in our life. Like, the more you educate yourself, the more you're prepared for whatever these things are, the better off you're going to be. All right. And, look, that's what it's all about. The more you educate yourself, the more you could be prepared for these things, and then you can handle it. You can look into it more. You can know more about it, and then decide to make the right decision from there, what's going to work for you and what's better for you, right? So being prepared in every aspect in your life, whether it's, your health, whether it's work, right? Work is another one, your career, whatever it is. I own multiple businesses, and I have to put systems and procedures in place that are going to make sure that we're doing the right things, that we're, our standard operating procedures are being followed all of the time. Because when those things are in place, you can't lose, you can't mess up. Yeah, are there going to be things that happen that, maybe shouldn't have? Sure. Now you got to fix it. You got to figure it out. You got to educate your staff. You got to train them. You got to do the right things. You got to set the right, recommendations and different things for your clients or your customers or whatever it is. It's so important to do all these things the right way. Have these, standard operating procedures in place, these processes, these systems, all these different things, because now that's just going to help you and strengthen everything else around you, making sure everyone's doing things the right way. And overall, it's great for yourself, your company, your staff, your customers, your clients, whatever it is. But having that prepared, having that done, is going to set you up and put you in a better position to win, plain and simple. So that's a way that you need to look at it when it comes to your profession. Another one, I'm going to go back to it, is educating yourself. The more that you know, the better you're going to be at whatever it is that you do. Okay, so educate yourself, do training, work on getting better constantly and consistently. Role play, put yourself in stressful situations, put yourself in, problematic situations, see how you're going to handle it, handling objections, how you're going to get through it, how you're going to fix it. What do we do if this happens? What do we do if that happens? Look, this might happen, so let's get ahead of it. And then say, hey, look, if it does, then look, this is what we're going to do, right? So the more prepared that you can be in a professional setting, in your career, in your business, whatever it is, the better off you're going to be. Okay, again, I'm a business owner, but if you're an employee somewhere, you need to look at it this way. If you're an employee, you want to make more money, you want to bring more value to the company that you work for, you want to move up, you want to get promoted, well then these type of things are going to help you do that, okay? And these are the type of things that an employer or a manager will see out of someone and say, wow, this person gets it. This person brings value. This is a person that we want to keep building, that we want to train, that we want to help along down this career path. So don't think that these things are only for business owners and businesses to set in place. They're very much for, staff and employees to do as well, because it's going to make you better. It's going to move you up, and that's going to make you more money. That's going to advance your career. You should think of yourself as it is your own business, right? I'm taking total accountability for myself. That's going to make my life better, because I'm going to move up, and my upper management and the owners are going to see this kind of stuff, and that's only going to help everyone involved. It's going to help the company, and it's going to help me. So this kind of stuff is so important. Being as prepared as possible, it's such a big part of your professional life. And on the health side of things, it is such an important part. Just another thing is too, like your car, your house, these things that need general maintenance, that need keeping up on, keeping them clean, making sure you're putting the right stuff into them, working on things, getting things fixed if there's a problem, handling it right away so it doesn't become a bigger problem. Again, as the more prepared you can be, the better. So look, this stuff's so important, and it's only going to help you perform better. It's going to help you handle things better. It's going to help you be better. It's going to help you get better, advance in whatever you're trying to do, have more success, hit your targets, hit your goals, whatever it is. This stuff is so important. The last part of this that I want to talk about, and I've talked about this before in the past, is, a big part of accountability and self-accountability is keeping your agreements with yourself, keeping your agreements with other people. One of my favorite books is called The 4 Agreements. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. That means be impeccable with your word to yourself and others. And what that means is if you say something, you do it. If you say you're going to do something, you tell someone you're going to do something, or you tell yourself that you're going to do something, you do it. It's not negotiable, okay? And that's the problem that a lot of people make with their health, with their career, with all these other different things in their life, is we say, we sell wolf tickets, right? We say all these things that we're going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get better. I'm going to read books. I'm going to educate myself. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to work out more. I'm going to, be a more positive person. I'm going to do this stuff, all this other stuff. And then you don't do it, right? Or maybe you do it for a week or a couple days and then you stop and you fall off because, you get too consumed with other stuff. Look, whatever your goals are, whatever your targets, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, write them down, okay? Then write down a plan of how you're actually going to do it, a plan of action of how you're going to actually do it. And then you have to tell yourself, like, I'm doing this. And then you have to, inside of yourself and your mind and your mindset, you have to agree, I'm doing this. And that's it. This isn't negotiable, okay? I'm going to start getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning. And that's it. Alarm goes off, you get up. That's it. There's no snooze. There's no laying around. There's no, resetting it for another hour. Because when you do that, and it sounds simple and stupid, but every time you break your agreement to yourself, whatever it is, if it's your alarm clock, you go off your diet, you do whatever else. If you said, hey, I'm not going to drink anymore, and then the next day you're drinking, or hey, I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes, and then you can't. Each time you do that, each time you break that agreement to yourself, you're essentially telling yourself that you're just not that important. Your goals are just not that important to me. Those targets and all these things that you want and these achievements that you want to do, it's just not that important. It's not important enough. You're not important enough. You, yourself, are not important enough. And that's a sad thing when you break agreements to yourself like that. Because you know right from wrong. You know what's going to make you better. You know the things that you shouldn't be doing. So when you see that, and then you continually break these agreements to yourself, you keep breaking your word, and you keep, going down that path of these bad behaviors and doing these bad things, well, then that becomes who you are, right? That becomes, the way you act and the way that you move, and that filters over to everything in your life. So when you break these agreements to yourself, other people see it, other people start not to trust you, other people start, to not believe you, because they just see you as that person that breaks their word, that says things and doesn't do it, doesn't follow through, never actually, gets out there, puts himself, in the game, never puts themselves out there to actually do or accomplish anything great. And, they think that you're scared. They think that you're a coward, really. And that's sad. You don't want to live that way. And, once you start doing that, once you start, going down that path of breaking these agreements to yourself and not having accountability and not having discipline, well, then you're always going to be that way. You're just setting yourself up for failure in your life, and you're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck right there at average. You're going to get stuck maybe even below average. And that's a shame, because I don't want that for you, right? You shouldn't want that for you. You have so much potential. There are people out there with far less. There are people out there with way less circumstances than you that have accomplished way more than you, me, and others, and maybe things that other people will never accomplish. So why can't you? Why not you? Why can't you do it? Stop breaking these agreements to yourself. Stop breaking your word to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, it needs to be non-negotiable, and you do it. That's it. Plain and simple. It's yes or no. There's no, stop, inside of yourself, in your mind, of these bad behaviors, these bad things that you do. Once you say you're going to do it, you just do it. That's it. Stop negotiating failure, because that's really what you're doing. Like you're saying, hey, I know I'm going to do this because this will make me better. This is what I want to do because this is going to get me to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And then that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. and all the stuff goes through your brain, right? It's all right. You can sleep in a little bit more. You'll do it tomorrow. So you start negotiating yourself and talking yourself out of success and talking yourself into more failure. And then as you do that, it just keeps happening. It becomes repetitive. You keep breaking your word to yourself. You keep breaking your agreements, and then it never happens. And that's the trap that we fall into. And that's the hole that we fall into that you'll never get out of if you don't do it. So set those goals, write down the plan, and then execute. Whatever it is, you make that agreement, and then you do it. That's it. It's over. It's not negotiable. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm going to do this every day because this is what I promised to myself. I'm not breaking my word. I'm not breaking my agreements. This is what I'm going to do. And when I do, I know I'm doing it for a reason, because it's my delayed gratification, because this is going to make me better, and this is going to get me where I want to be in life. That's it. Like, tell yourself that. have self-talk. Write these things down. It's just, look, this is so important. I'm very passionate about this in my life, because I know once I made these shifts for myself, it has changed my life more than I can ever explain. So that's why I do this podcast. I want to share these stories. I want to talk about these strategies. I want to talk about these things that are going to make you better, because I know you can do it. If I can do it, some kid from Southwest Philadelphia that, didn't come from money, that had a lot of very, very tough things happen to me in my life, tough circumstances that put me in some bad spots, and I overcame those things and made a pretty good life for myself, then I know you can too. Okay, I believe in you. I know you can too, so do it. All right, believe in yourself, set these agreements, follow through with them, respect yourself, which is another thing that I talked about last week. Be prepared, have self-accountability, and get it done. It is so important. It will change your life. That is it, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the Mindset Movement. I will see you all next week.